Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on September 23rd, 2021 at approximately 9:39 a.m. PST. Well, thus far, now we are getting down to the end of the one sequence here. Another 3 or 4 days here. That's including today. But thus far, we have covered thought, choice. We broke success itself down into purpose, plan, persistence, and patience. Then we covered creation, foundation, expansion, community, self-awareness, prosperity. And today we're going to cover discrimination. Now, do understand the term discrimination has been widely utilized in a derogatory fashion, as in setting people aside from each other. I look at discrimination as a more refined form of choice. Okay, you make a choice to move forward. You make a choice to drink. Now, I don't have one with me, but you could choose Coke, which, by the way, in case you hadn't noticed, that's water. Or you can choose Pepsi. You discriminate the two by their taste. You decide which one you like more, which one you don't. But it fine-tunes the choice that you've made to move forward as to how you're going to go about it. You discriminate if you're running a business. You discriminate between which supplier you're going to use and which one you're not. But you use discrimination in terms of the product, not the color of somebody's skin or not their background. Okay, you use it based on the product, based on the way they treat you, based on what they have available that you're looking for. The reality is, too many people take a look at the word discrimination and immediately jump to the wrong end of the scale. They jump to the negative. Discrimination is simply an issue of, and I'm not going to bother looking up in the dictionary. To me, it really boils down to an issue of making a refined choice in order to attain the things in life that you desire to attain, in order to get your life organized. Now, the greater majority of people seem to get really caught up in whether other people are going to be content with the choices you make. Okay, and it comes back to that same issue. If you're following karmic law, as in, be true to yourself first, do unto others as you desire them to do unto you, energy out, energy in. As long as you're following those, and for obvious reasons, keep in mind, breaking social law, as in whatever the legal system in your country has to say, breaking that causes way too much havoc in my eyes. Besides, I don't do the vertical bar scene well. Okay, but what it does do is it gives you a guideline as to how you can operate best. Now, where it comes to discriminating in your own favor, okay, it really boils down to picking the direction you desire to head in and making an educated choice. Do your research. Don't necessarily take my word for it. Okay, by the way, just to make sure I get this said right, if you like the videos, absolutely give us a thumbs up. And remember to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that alert bell beside the subscribe button just to let you know when the next video comes out. Because I am trying to get these out once a day. But the message I returned to this life with was to let people know that working together, we can make this a better world for everyone. Well, for most people. There will be exceptions, no doubt. You may be one of those exceptions. Where, there are people out there that go, if I'm not being bowed down to, if I'm not being told I'm the best person on the planet, then my life is miserable. Well, understand, that is a choice you can make. But I will tell you, the thing that I found is when I become more comfortable with me, okay, it becomes easier for me to cope with other people. Okay. And I hit another marker today. I've been having to wear, and I know this is totally pointless from your standpoint, but I've been having to wear an extra large t-shirt because, quite frankly, my stomach was too big and I couldn't fit into a smaller one. Well, this morning, I managed to comfortably get into a large. And that is strictly because my stomach reduced. Not unhappy about that. Okay. Probably not a big marker for a lot of people. You may be one of these people that go, gee, I wish I could get that far. And you can. It boils down to one little detail. Now, I am not a medical doctor. Okay. But it does tie into discrimination. Okay. Now, part of what put my weight up was eating way too much restaurant food. In other words, going out, getting getting the fried stuff, getting stuff that was basically pointless. Okay, yes, it was good food, or I wouldn't have gone there. But I wasn't getting the proper exercise in. I was eating way too much and not moving around at all. Okay, but I took a look at me, and it's not that anybody else was complaining. But for me personally, and this is simply an issue of what I was looking at. I was looking at people, and I noticed people are getting heavier and heavier. Well, I did not find that attractive. And then I took a look in the mirror and went, if I do not feel that that's attractive, then why am I letting myself get to that point? So I made a very refined choice. I started discriminating between whether I was eating healthy food, whether I was eating stuff that was actually benefiting me, whether I was getting off my tail feathers and moving, okay, or whether I was going to stay living the life I had been living amongst clutter, living amongst a disaster. Now, as you can see, this is a long time work in progress, but it is coming along. Okay, and this is happening throughout my house, which is part of the reason why the office is not getting as completely cleaned as it's going to get. But I do have my filing cabinet over there. I've got the top level of the top drawer of it sorted out completely now, where the only thing in it is what has to be filed for operational process for today, like for this year. Now, when we're talking about discriminating, okay, and this is where that list comes in real convenient. Whether you're looking for a relationship, whether you're looking for a business, okay, whether you're just looking to straighten your own life out, this list comes in extremely handy. Now, I keep telling people, okay, your best path is to literally put 3 things on the list. Keep them to 15 minutes to a half hour in length. In this way, you can get them wrapped up. Now, I tell people work with 3. When you get one done, check it off and add a third one to the bottom of the list. Well, I'm not quite that simplistic. I don't do things quite that simply, if you will. Okay, because this list that I started with this morning. Okay, now I got up at about 5 o'clock, I think. Wonder if I can actually find that in a hurry. Just gotta check because I've got a routine that actually lets me track what I'm up to. And what do we got here? Yeah, that's always fun. Whoop. Okay, I had to get up before that. There we are. Yeah, I got up at 5 o'clock this morning. Okay, as soon as I got up, I put an immediate list together that is just over 30 things long. And I've already got 7 of them wrapped up. Within the next half hour, I will rack off another 2. Recording this and posting it. Now, the funny thing with discrimination is this. The choices that you make, the things that you like or dislike, may alter over time. In all likelihood, they will. Okay. So what ends up happening is you get faced with the issue of, I'm going to decide which way my life is going. Now, ironically, I could take all of this and tie it right into ages and into the way all of the life cycles pass, because it is all connected. But when we're talking about discrimination itself, take a look at it from the positive side of what are you choosing to do that is making you feel more effective or helping you feel better. Okay, that's the critical factor that you have to look at, or at least that it's beneficial to look at. Now, the neat little part about it is that as you get the energy in your house running smoothly, you'll find things happen a lot more readily, that your stress level drops, your energy level climbs. Net result, if your stress drops, your health also goes up. Now, people will tell you there's all sorts of things you can't overcome. Well, now, I'm a firm believer that all that I do, you can do, and more. Okay, I'm not about to try and get into going into electrical work. Do I understand it? To a degree. I certainly understand the base principle. But I have trouble keeping the colors in order. Okay, but here's the thing. Here's a list of things I've overcome that they said that I personally have overcome. That they say that I have been told by so-called professionals that I couldn't overcome. Okay, we'll start with the real big one, which is death. Tried that the day I was born, and multiple times since. Have basically overcome diabetes, but that being said, I haven't got the doctor to check it out. I just know my system is running a whole lot healthier. I know I've overcome the weight problem. I've overcome being a pack rat, and that was a simple choice of going, I don't like my life the way it is anymore. I've almost completely overcome the use of these. It was funny, I got up this morning and went to work on the computer, and I forgot to put these on. Normally I have to wear glasses when I'm working on the computer. But today, I didn't put the glasses on, came out front, worked on the computer, watched a little TV and what have you. And the funny part about it wasn't until I went to drive that I went, wait a minute, I've got to have my glasses. That's a legal thing. Now, right now, it's also a necessity. Although there are days where I can do it. I think a couple of weeks back, I can't prove it because, well, nobody was watching. But I may have forgotten to put my glasses back on. I had them hang on my shirt. And I may well have forgotten to put them back on and subsequently drove home. But my eyesight is improving. That's because I've discriminated between what I'm reading as real and what the doctors are telling me as real. Okay. I checked through it. Since 2007, I made a choice to track how many books I'm reading. Well, at present, not how many books I'm reading, rather, but how many books I've read. At present, I have a list of them. I've actually read 62 books since 2007. Okay, and I'm not talking about listening to somebody else reading them. Whether you're reading them in digital or whether you're reading them in an actual physical book, that's up to you. The thing is, I've been reading them, like I've read them word for word myself. Some of them very short, most of them very long. The one book that I'm in the process of trying to tie off, it's over there. The one book I'm in the process of reading that's going to be finished within the next week, I suspect, is the final book in an entire encyclopedia. The encyclopedia I've already read. But that's because I made the decision that I talked to my older brother actually about it and asked him if there was a way, because he reads it like there's no tomorrow. And I asked him if there was a way to improve my reading speed. Yeah, my speeding read. That's always nice. My reading speed. And what he said is simple. Read. Just simply read. The more you read, the faster you'll get. Okay, the more comprehension you'll retain. Net result, I got back into the reading side of it. Okay, and it is working. I am reading a little faster and still retaining the information. Some of which goes completely against what I've been taught. And ironically, it goes completely against what I'm taught while I've been reading the information that I was asked to read to support what I was being taught. Which really brings an interesting scenario to mind, but we're going to leave that alone for a bit. But when we're talking about the business you have, if you're striving to rebuild, and in today's world, there's a lot of that going on. Let's reorganize where the company is going. Let's reorganize what we're doing, and let's get actually focused on it. Okay, which is one of the other little projects I'm working on. You see, years ago, I came up with this idea. Now, I don't have a lot of money. Okay, I really don't. And I certainly don't have the skill set to accommodate, to do everything that I require done. But here's the thing. Something to keep in mind, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a manager, whether you're running a household, the best of the best are not the people that can do it all on their own. They are the people that can find the people that can do it all on their own, and that can do it, and then find a way to motivate them. This also applies to the running of your house. It's absolutely imperative, especially if you've got kids, not that you have to do all of the work. The idea is, quite frankly, do the work until you can get them educated and motivated enough to take it on themselves. Okay, now it does happen. Sometimes it'll take longer, sometimes it'll take less time. But it does happen. Because rest assured, and especially for those of you that have a mental or a physical challenge, which, by the way, 99% of people on the planet do. You don't all operate the same way, but you are all worth the same, spiritually speaking. Financially, sorry, that's somebody else's department. Okay, the one thing I will tell you is every tool that I offer on these videos, every single one of the ones that applies to me, I am utilizing. I am putting to use, even today. Okay, because from my standpoint, if I'm going to tell you it works, it only makes sense that I should do something with it. And as you can see, that black jacket that I said was going to go is gone. Okay. Just looking over here, I got a lot of stuff set out over there to paint. I've got a bunch of stuff here that I've got to deal with. But it boils down to, I make sure, and it's imperative in order for your life to work right, in order for the energy to run smoothly, that you get into a pattern. Even basic physics runs on a pattern. Okay. The neat part about it is mankind is only just starting to understand this. So here's the thing. When we're talking about discriminating, choosing the friends you're going to have around you, choosing the areas you're going to go, choosing the way you're going to get things, it's a question of discriminating the best way to do it. Like, when I'm done this video, I'll get it posted, and then I'm looking at going for a walk. The reason for that, aside from desiring the walk, is there's a store about a mile away from here that has what I desire in it. Now, I've got the choice. I can discriminate between either walking or driving. Now, considering my leg is working well today, not being entirely stupid, well, I debate that sometimes, but see, I had a choice. Because I still have a bad leg, I know this, I'd like to say I don't, but I'd have to lie. But I had a choice. I could use a standard cane, or I could have one custom built. Now, the guy that built this, as far as I'm concerned, he did an absolutely fabulous job of it. Okay, it's a little heavier than normal because running from about here, right about here, all the way down to the bottom end, all the way down to the back end here, I think it's a 3/4 inch rod in it. Okay, to make sure it doesn't break, to make sure it doesn't wear out. Now, I had the choice. I could have stayed working with the other canes I had. I made a choice. I'm going to use a cane instead of a wheelchair. That was just the way that was. But then I had to discriminate between which type of cane I wanted. Now, I do have a collapsible metal one that I keep in my car. But that wood one, quite frankly, it's custom made. Okay, so I made a very definitive choice. I went, okay, I'm going to get somebody to build me one. Then I went around and discriminated between which of the woodworkers I could find could actually accommodate what I desired. That's how I ended up with that thing. And rest assured, it took a lot of work. Okay. So I ended up choosing this one. He made the choice as far as the wood and the woodwork and the wood went, which, if I recall, is Purple Heart and Yellow Heart. Okay, for those of you that care. Okay, but I had, because my hand works a little different. Okay, I hold on to it that way, right, which puts all my weight on the right directly on the bar. But it boiled down to discriminating between which supplier, or which, in this case, which artisan I was going to utilize. Okay, I'm happy with it. The same guy, and here's the thing. Matter of fact, I think I'll have to go and get one of those, but I gotta check and see if I've got the money for it. Well, I know I've got the money for it, I just have to get one. Because the way I look at it, this guy, I'm just absolutely tickled pink with him. Unfortunately, it's pricey. Okay. And for most people, that can be a barrier. But when you're looking at getting your life organized, you've got to discriminate between what you like, what feels right, what looks right to you. Okay. Like, it dawned on me here, there's a couple of things I'm not happy with the layout of my office. But they're things that I have to add to it. Okay, not the least of which, because I've got my monitor right here. Okay, there's a shelf up here that I can put up above it. And I do desire to get another shelf stacked on this one. It won't be state of the art. It will simply be to accommodate that which I desire to accommodate. Okay, there are a couple of ways I can do it, but I'm quite happy with the idea of I don't have to spend top dollar to get what I'm aiming for. It just has to me, feel like top dollar. Okay, which is why I keep that sign over there, over my left shoulder here. You'll see that wood sign that says, I am worth it. Now, I'm not fussy what my stuff outside my house looks like. I'm not trying to compete with the Joneses. When I first moved out, I had a choice. Okay, when I first moved out of my house decades ago, out of my parents' place, the first thing I went and did, right, I already had flatware and what have you, but the first thing I actually went and did was I went and bought a set of 18 karat plate gold flatware. Okay. Now, my parents, of course, looked at me and went, why, pray tell, would you buy that? Our only comment was, because I can. Okay. And the reality of it is, I desired the best. Not the best in everybody else's opinion, but the best in mine. Okay. And then, of course, a lot of people have these things called, your good china or your good dishes, right? That they bring out for company. And I got looking at it, and I haven't implemented it very well. But I do know that come December, what I'm doing this year is I'm taking what most people call good china. Well, I don't have good china, but I certainly have good flatware. Okay, but it's lasted me this long because I don't use it daily. I use your run-of-the-mill everyday flatware. But I have chosen, I look at it and I discriminate between what I like as compared to what other people like. Okay, like this is what works for me. When I got these glasses, it was comical. Because at the time, I couldn't see them this close. And, of course, the optician goes, what kind of frames would you like? And we looked at her and went, the ones that hold the glasses in front of my eyes. And she goes, no, seriously. I says, look at the reality of it. If I hold my glasses right here, I can't see them. And if I put them on my face, I don't have to look at them. So why do I care? Okay. Some people would say, well, you should take better care of yourself. Well, I probably should. Okay. And in all fairness, that's what I'm in the process of doing. Of course, do I shave every day? Obviously not. Because it's not a priority to me. Were my other half to have moved up here, then yeah, I undoubtedly would. But considering right now she doesn't live here, it doesn't really make a lot of difference. But when you're looking at your life, it's imperative you discriminate, that you choose what you're content with. Not necessarily what everybody else is content with. Only what you are. Because by choosing what you're content with, by discriminating between what people tell you is right and what feels right. Okay, let me put it this way. If you're following a spiritual guide that tells you fear everybody else, okay, or even fear your creator, okay, if that's what you're believing in and the person you're following tells you to fear them, you might want to look at that a little differently. Because here's something for those of you, and this is an issue of discriminating. Okay, when you take a look at a piece of writing, at a prose, and you take it out of context, okay, then all of a sudden you can shift the whole thing. Okay, by the addition of one word or the removal of one word, you can change the way you look at things, or that other people look at things. For instance, if you look in your bank account and you've got a little bit of money, let's say you've got $20 extra, and you've got something that is going to cost you $15. Now, you've got one of two options. You can say, I can afford that, or I cannot afford that. Very different energy patterns. Okay. Now, one day, there are some major discrepancies that I've seen in various religious teachings, spiritual teachings, that I've been doing my own reading and my own researching on. I'm not much of a researcher, so we'll just chalk it up to reading. Because research boils down to going and looking down other people's, in my opinion, more often than not, you're regurgitating what other people have said. Okay, no offense to the scientists out there. But when you're looking at your business, okay, when you look at the business, and the business may be just running your own home, okay, really get it straight in your head what you feel is going to make your home or your business feel right. It's a question of discriminating between what you're hearing, what you're reading, and what you're feeling. And really picking which is which. Now, because I keep these down to the half-hour mark, I'm going to cut this short now. And, well, I guess not really short. We're pretty much there. But I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.